Hey guys, welcome back to Business Technology Applications. Today's video is going to cover our mail merge assignment that we have in lesson 4.06. And so what you see here on the screen is the actual business letter that I created back in lesson 4.02 for that task 1. Okay, so hopefully you have already done this, so you'll be able to pull that same file up. And again, this was the letter that you created, the business letter that you created in lesson 4.02, task 1. So that's what you see here on my screen. So in order to start a mail merge, there's a couple things that we're going to have to do for this process to work out. So your screen may look a little bit different than mine. I'm using Microsoft Office 2013. I think you guys are using 2007. There should be a couple differences, but it's not overwhelming. Okay, it's not overwhelming differences here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click on the Mailings tab in your ribbon, and then right over here where you see Start Mail Merge, you're going to want to select the Step-by-Step Mail Merge Wizard. Okay, so I'm going to select that, and once I do, I'm going to have a nice little pop-up pane over here on the right that says Mail Merge. Okay. And yours may look, hopefully yours looks like this now. I had jumped ahead on mine. But we're just going to keep this as letters. Okay, so you're going to click on Next for starting the document. Right here, it says use the current document, so we're just going to leave that as is, okay, because we want to use this current document for this mail merge. And now we're going to select the recipients. And this is something that you guys are going to have to do and kind of use your own your imagination for this. So usually you may already have a contact list created. Like, maybe you have some database that you're using for a business, and so they already have all their customers loaded in this that they can use. But in our case, what we're going to do is create a list of recipients that are going to receive this letter. Okay, in order to do that, yours by default probably already says use an existing list. What we're going to do is change it to type a new list. All right, so once we select type a new list, you're going to click on create. And then right here, you're literally going to go in and you're going to add names. Okay, you're going to add names and addresses. And so what I would encourage you to do, okay, is we're not encouraging you to do. The only requirements that I'm going to do, I know the lesson asks you to enter 10 recipients. I don't want you to get overwhelmed with having to make up 10 people's names and addresses. So let's just do 3. So I'm going to do that right now. The first one I'm going to do, I'll just use this example right here, John Doe. So I'm going to type, the title is Mr. Okay, then John for first name, Doe for last name. I'm going to skip the company name because I did not assign him a company name. I'm going to scroll over and type in his address. So 545 Blue Project Lane. And then I'm going to skip the address line 2. A lot of times people will use that address line 2 to do like apartment numbers or suite numbers or something like that. So in this case, I'm going to skip the address line 2, move over to city. Okay, and the city for this one was Fantasy. All right. The state is Alabama. I'm going to keep scrolling over. And then the zip code, I had 55555, okay? So now I'm going to enter a new entry, okay? And because again, we're just going to make up 3 people's names and 3 people's addresses that we're going to send this letter to. So let's create new entry, okay? In this one, I'll just do Miss Jane Doe, okay? And her address, I'll say 221 Rover Road, and you can make up your own, okay? I'll say she lives in Fantasy, Alabama. 55555. All right, I'm going to enter one more entry, and I'll say Dr. Joe Smith. Okay, and Dr. Joe Smith lives at 300 Crest Boulevard. All right, and again, he lives in Fantasy, Alabama, 55555. Okay, so once you've created your 3 contacts, you guys are good to go. So what I'm going to do is select OK. And now I have 3 contacts. Oh, and I'm sorry, it's going to ask you to save this address list. So you can save this on your flash drive if you want, which I would encourage you to do that. So I'll just say lesson 4.06 contact. Okay. Now you're not going to submit this contact list to me. We're just using it for this purpose. So I'm just going to put this in my documents. All right. Awesome. So now we're good to go. Okay. So we're going to use this recipient list, okay, to move forward in our document. Okay, and to do this, we're simply going to move forward. We're going to select Write Our Letter because we have our recipient list already selected. Okay, so this is where I need you guys just to kind of stop for a second and just watch this video so that you have an understanding of why we use mail merge. All right, so this letter that I've typed is going to be sent to potential contacts, right? I'm encouraging them to use, in my case, my lawnscaping business, right, to use our services. Well, if I had a long recipient list, I would have to go in for each letter and change the name, the address, the dear so-and-so, then I would print the letter out, then I would have to change it again to, enter another customer's name in there and then print the letter out. So that would take a long time to keep going back in and changing addresses and so forth so that I can print letters out to send them to different customers. So what I can do is use mail merge, okay, what we're doing right now. I can use mail merge to essentially do that for me. So let me show you how that's done right here, okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to delete, just for right now, I'm going to delete Mr. John Doe and then the address, because I'm going to come in right here and I'm going to select, okay, the address block for this area right here. All right, so right here where you see address block, click on address block. If you have not moved forward, if you're still in this pane right here, you need to come right here to write letter, and I'm going to enter address block. Okay, when I do that, it shows me how it's how it's going to look, and I can change the way it looks. I can go through here and if I want to include the person's middle name and so forth, but for right now I'm just going to use the default. Okay, so I'm going to click OK. So it has inserted the address block, and that's literally what it looks like right there. And I'm then going to change I'm going to delete the salutation, okay, the Dear Mr. Doe. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to use what's called a greeting line. So if I insert greeting line, again, it shows me, hey, this is how we have this formatted. Do you want to change it? And I'm just going to leave it as the default, so I'm going to click OK. All right, so now I have the greeting line right here. So now this letter looks a little bit different than it did a second ago. Rather than have somebody's address spelled out right here, we just have this address line or address block line, and then we have the greeting line right below it, like you normally would on a business letter. All right, so this is what I want to see you turn into me. So at this point, you essentially could save your document and then email it to me, or not email it to me, I'm sorry. You can save your document and upload it to the Dropbox. So you essentially could stop right here. If you want to see what it looks like, okay, what you can do is preview your letters. So watch what happens right here when I select preview your letters. All right, the first result is Mr. John Doe, right, because he was part of our contact list. So if I come up here and click next, watch what happens. All right, remember Miss Jane Doe that we entered in our contact list? Well, now her address shows up, and then the salutation's different. And then Mr. I think it was Dr. Smith, was it? Dr. Joe Smith, again, the third contact that we entered in there, all of his information is automatically entered. So this is what mail merge is useful for. Now, if I wanted to complete the merge, which you are not required to do this, as a matter of fact, I don't want you to do this. You just submit the file at this point right here. So you would go to File, Save As, save it as lesson point 406, and then maybe your name. But if this was real life and you were going to, send this letter, you could go ahead and complete the merge and then print. And when you print, it's going to print 3 letters that are the exact same letters, except the names and the addresses to whom the letters are being sent to are different because we've used the mail merge process. So this is what it's used for, and this is why it's useful. Hopefully this video has helped. If you have any other questions, please shoot me an email, and I'll be more than happy to help. Thanks so much.